Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Sandra Dee Robinson here, the founder of Charismatic Cowgirl. I'm glad that you can be here live with us. Feel free to give us some comments. We can see it. And I am here today with communication expert Keri Newell. And if you had seen some of the previews and the teasers that I had done for this, we were talking about how maybe looking at your guy in your life and seeing him glaze over as you're asking him for something kind of leaves you going, what's happening? If you're in a conversation and all of a sudden the conversation goes awry and you're like, what just happened here? We communicate differently, men and women. And though we think we know that, I have an expert here with me today in Keri Newell that not only has helped me find my husband, but her training has also helped me keep my husband. So if you have a husband, if you have a boyfriend, or as I said in an email that I sent out today for this, if you are single, for the love of God, you have to understand what Keri Newell teaches. So we have a little bit of time with her. And Keri, thanks for being here. I'm so excited. You're going to help us understand how women can ask for what we want and receive it exactly what we want. And it's not manipulation in a bad way. It's not hocus pocus. You're not setting a spell on a guy, are we?
Well, no.
Okay.
Great.
So let me tell you a little bit about Keri. I should just go ahead and tell you a little bit about how I know Keri personally, which you may have already sensed, right? But she has been transforming lives and inspiring women to have healthy relationships around the world for 15 years now. Has it really been 15 years? Gosh, that's a long time.
Been 17.
Wow. She knows her stuff, ladies. I'm telling you. Keri electrifies the audience with her keen insight into mastering communication between men and women in both personal and professional relationships. So today we're talking personal. We only have a few minutes. She imparts her clients with a new understanding of the male mind. Yes, they do have one. And knowledge that will help them be heard, supported, cherished, and adored. And, you know, isn't that what all women want? Most women want to be cherished and adored, right?
Yes, they do. Thank you for having me. And because we have such a short amount of time, I'm just going to jump right in. I mean, we are
Yeah.
gift giving season. And one of the challenges that comes up is there can be a lot of hurt, frustration, pain, disappointment when it comes to giving and receiving. And while the holidays are not just about giving and receiving, actually, they shouldn't be at all, but they are. And here we are. Giving. And so there's a lot of differences that go on. And, you know, women are very good at giving. We're nurturing, we're giving, we're great gift givers. And that's most women. And most men, it's more challenging for them. It's not their focus. It's not their thing. It's not in their wheelhouse. And so sometimes we are disappointed by the gift we might receive from someone that means a lot to us, right? Mm-hmm. And so how can you avoid this from happening in the future, or maybe even now if you try this out real quick before he goes out and buys? You know, communication is key. So letting a man know without telling him exactly, you know, some men say, hey, give me a list, and that's great. Give him a list, right? And sometimes, you know, we end up saying, I want this or I want that. And that's not really the approach, right? Because
What's better? What's a better way to do it?
Well, you know, you might say, you know, are you struggling with finding something that I love for Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever it is? You might give him a list earlier in the year of things that men like direction, and basically they want to make us happy. So they would like to know what it is that's going to make us happy. So you get to give them that information. Now, here's the thing too. You get given something, you receive something, and it may be disappointing. It may be not what you wanted, what you thought it was going to be. And you still have to appreciate his effort, because if you don't, the giving is going to become less. It's going to become less joyful. He's going to want to not put the effort in to give you something in the future. And, you know, he's probably put some thought into it. I remember I had a boyfriend many years ago drum up all this excitement around this gift he was going to give me. And I was so excited. And when I opened it up, and this was way before I was teaching this, it was a purse. It was an ugly purse. And I burst into tears in front of my mother and him. And needless to say, you know, the relationship didn't last, not because of that. But right. I didn't receive anything more from him. And it was just so awkward and so uncomfortable. And, you just want to be in gratitude, right, of what's being given to you.
I think that's something that we actually touched on here before, if you don't mind me saying. We talked about rewarding good behavior. And I guess even if you get a gift and it's not the right one, you at least want to reward them for the effort. It's like anytime that my husband loads the dishwasher, I make a big fuss. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. That saved me. And I learned this from you, Keri. That saved me so much time. Thank you so much. That is awesome that you did that. And then he does it more.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to have help, and men want to be helpful, and they want to know how to be helpful. What can they do to be helpful? What really helps us? And then also to say, if they do something for us, like you said, you follow it up with, that really saved me, or I was so exhausted and I was really not looking forward to having to do that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
We have so many rewards. I mean, some people think, oh, it's a game. Well, so is driving. I mean, you don't want to keep going when you see that red light.
Exactly. It's really a skill. And I think what I learned from you, Keri, is echoed a lot of times in what I see in the programs that we do with Charismatic Cowgirl, because we talk about, obviously, relationships, communication, and leadership. They're all intertwined. So even for those of you that are married, we're talking about communicating well with your husband. If you are married and in a family situation, you guys are the leaders. I mean, that's part of leadership. So you can't really separate those three. But the one great thing that I do understand is that one of the techniques we talk about is asking and receiving for what you want. And that's exactly what Keri's talking about here, is asking in the right way, in a way that a man understands it, and then receiving what you want in a way that will propel the man to do more of the same. It seems like a really simple thing, but sometimes it's hard, right? We get so used to saying, well, I want this, or we almost get, I think back in how I used to be pre-Keri, and I think in a way kind of aggressive, demanding. I mean, I would not even wait for a guy to ask me out when I was single. I would just go up and ask him out. Right. And Keri knows what that led to. If you make the first move and you offer to buy a drink for a guy, I know, I can tell you from personal experience, I did that with one guy and ended up buying him drinks and paying his rent for 2 years. So, yeah, that didn't exactly set up the relationship of adoration that I wanted. Right. And Keri, can we touch on something real quick before we go? I know this fascinates ladies, so I just want to touch on it. I know it's kind of opening up the avenue with which you teach everything. It's kind of a foundation, but I want to intrigue people with the understanding that women and men do speak very, very differently, right? And one of the things about being respected or adored is just pivotal for people to understand why the language has to be different. So we're saying that women want to be adored, and I know, and you know, that there's ladies listening that are saying, well, I want to be respected.
Right.
So how does that work?
It's a choice. And here's what's really fascinating. When a woman is cherished and adored by a man, she actually feels respected. And when a man is respected, he actually feels cherished and adored. Mm-hmm. I know it sounds odd, but in our society today, we're a very masculine, energy driven women. we just are, right? And so being in your masculine feels more powerful, and it's what we've been taught and it's what we've experienced. But if you start to learn a little bit about what your feminine looks like and how that feels and how that works with men, it's much more powerful, and you end up being more in harmony. I mean, isn't that what we want? We want harmony. We want happiness. We want love. We want to be cherished and adored. We want to feel respected. We want it all, right?
We do. That's just it. If you ask, I've sat through Keri's trainings, and Keri says, would you rather be respected or adored, to a group of women? And they go, I want both. And it does take some clarification to understand that you can feel both, but you really have to go after one or the other. If you really 100% want to be respected in your relationship, then you kind of have to switch the roles, which gets more complicated and more into Keri's training. But most women do want to be adored, and that helps us to feel respected. And I see women come in and choose the horses when we do the wine and equine. So many ladies, especially the single ones, will choose a masculine horse. And they'll actually say to me, I want to work out my issues with men. So they choose the horse that they think is going to teach it to them. And what they end up finding out, at least in the short term, when we do the introductory, the wine and equine, they just see played back in, you know, 1,000-pound animal, exactly their relationships as they are in the real world. Because the way you approach the horse is the way you approach a man, and it's going to kind of roll back around, you know. But the good thing about working with the horses, I think it's a little safer emotionally than trying this out. Now, if you're married, you have a little bit of leeway. They're contractually obligated to stay there.
Right.
So you got that. But what is some quick advice that you can give? Let's just say the single ladies. Like I said, I made a mistake multiple times over before my husband, before Keri, when I would see a cute guy and I think, well, I'm just going to go over and talk to him. Because I was carrying on that masculine role, like you said, that makes us feel powerful. We use that a lot in business. And I know that that's something else you do. You balance our femininity in business as well as personal. It's not that you have two totally different personalities, but you do bring out different things. You use slightly different language in a love relationship than you do when you're working with men.
Right.
However, to approach your love relationships with the masculine sense like I did, I'm going to go buy that guy a drink. I'm going to walk over and talk to that guy. What's a better approach, Keri? Because people will be networking. They're going to be out at parties. It's an opportunity to meet people if they're single. What do they do?
Well, there is a flirting technique that I teach that makes it safe for men to approach you if they're interested in approaching you. And we don't really have time for me to get into it. So if you're interested,
we can go a minute. We can go another minute. Can you give us a little something in a minute?
It's kind of a several step training thing.
Okay.
I'm going to do it real fast. Okay. So the idea is eye contact. When you make eye contact with someone, especially if you're interested in them, there's already some kind of chemistry or something going on. And usually you look at someone, they look at you, you look away, they look away, right? And you never really connect. Now, the idea is when you make that eye contact, hold that eye contact for a count of 5. And this is something that Dr. Pat Allen teaches. This isn't even my thing, but it really works.
And 5 seconds seems like a really long time. When you practice this, it seems, or when in real life, it seems like a really long time.
It is. And what you want to do is you want to count in your head, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. At 3, 1,000, you want to smile. Because if you're just staring at them and not smiling, that's going to be a little weird.
A little creepy. A little creepy.
Right. A little crazy. And, you know, I have men that smile back, that look away, that look back at you, that look over their shoulder. They think maybe you're looking at someone else, you know, it's really funny. And
looking to see if there's a clock above their head.
Right. And then you want to make yourself available for them to approach. So if you're with a group of people, you know, make it easy for him to walk up to you. So that
like
means,
go get a drink or go to the bathroom or something.
Well, you don't want them coming into the bathroom, but
well, no, I mean walk across the room. Just
you want to go get a drink, go look at the sunset, go, you know, whatever you're, you know,
right.
Pull yourself away from the herd so they don't have to be, you know, coming up to a group of women or a group of people, or even 2. And then do the same thing. Look back at him, smile. So that's reassuring for a man to come and approach you. And then when he does, make sure that he's the one that says something first. I know this sounds so silly, but this is part of a man's pursuit. And ladies, you've got to be really careful. No matter what he says, there's no one-liner that a man can learn that fits for all women. So he may say something that sounds not good to you or silly or, you know, stupid. Doesn't matter. He's crossed the room to talk to you. Put him at ease. Smile, laugh, respond, you know, get to know him. The more at ease you both become, the more you get to know each other. And that's what you need to do. So that's in a nutshell. If you want a more detailed, feel free to email me, Keri, Keri, at communicationmagicwithmen.com. And
I'll put the link in the comments when we put this up, like afterwards for people that are watching. I apologize. I actually saw that there was a comment here from Marianne who said, "Men have minds. Are you sure?" Yeah, they do.
Actually,
they do.
You know, his brain is his second favorite organ. You guys have to respect it. You do. I know it can be frustrating. I can help you get there. It's just our brains work very differently. So we don't really appreciate what he has going on. It's his
Yeah.
second favorite organ. If you don't know his first, that's another coach. That's not me, but they want to admire and appreciate his thoughts, ideas, and opinions. Bottom line.
Exactly. Exactly. So for those of you that are going to be watching this afterwards, like I said, we'll put Communication Magic with Men website on the link right underneath here so you can learn a little bit more. Keri does work with people individually, and we are actually talking about maybe doing a workshop together. She's out in California, so we're looking at late spring, early. She's ready. Look, I love it. Yay!
Right.
That looks awesome. That looks awesome. So we'll actually get the training from Keri, and then you'll be able to work it out in that emotionally safe zone with the horses. And I think it's going to be an awesome thing. So we're looking at doing that probably in the San Diego, LA, San Diego area. And we're looking at end of April or beginning of summer in there. So if that sounds like something that you guys would be interested in, let me know. We might even find a way to record it, Keri, so that you don't have to be there in person, but we'd love for you to be there in person when we do this. Yeah. So if you have any more questions, put them in the comments below. If you have stories, comment. And I'd love to know if anything here resonates with you guys. And if you want to know more from Keri, maybe we can set up another interview or something like that. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, Keri, for all the great info. I know you have a busy day, so we're going to let you go. You should leave the hat on, though. It looks awesome. All right, y'all. See you later. Bye. Thanks for joining.